New York isn't the only place for arts and culture. There is so much talent right here that most people just aren't aware of, but I'm here to help you find it. I'm relaunching Hazlitt Coffee Talk to talk about arts and culture right in our area. I've got plenty of people I'll be talking to right in my own backyard, literally, and every one of them comes from, lives in, or works right in this area. This is Lucille Sapio. We're talking arts and culture over coffee, and this is Hazlitt Coffee Talk. So I'm here talking to Geoff Shields, and Geoff I have known for years. Mm-hmm. He's a professor.
Yeah.
He's a speech specialist. He's a producer and an actor.
Yep.
What do you do in your spare time?
Yeah, I teach at Brookdale, and I also teach up at Montclair and for Kane.
You've had over 30 years of acting experience, so you must have had some bad roles in your professional career.
Yeah. Several moments spring to mind. Yeah, it's true where you you kind of don't want to come out from backstage after the show.
Yeah.
I did a show once, Modigliani. Oh my God, did we have problems? But there was just some issues reaching the audience with it. It was a tough one.
As actors, we like to blame the audience when we don't get good response. Like, oh, it was a bad audience. I don't know how you feel about it.
That's on us. That's our job, is to feel it and make the adjustments. And that's something you were really good at, was keeping the pace up. And it's all about picking up cues and then getting out. It's a good measure of whether somebody has it together or not.
Yeah. So of all those roles that you play, which is your favorite?
I'm working on a one-man show, and I've done it actually a bunch of times in various forms. But it's called Junk Drawer. The writing and then performing and then going back and doing the rewrites, and I really love that. I feel at home when I'm doing that. And what I found doing that, when you're writing your own material, for me anyway, and it might sound like I'm insane, but it feels almost like I'm transcribing or something. I'm listening.
You're in it.
It's just stuff is coming into my head and it's coming out, and then I go back later to see, okay, well, how much of this is just too many words, but it's not about making a plan and executing it on paper as much as sitting down, getting in tune with
the situation.
And then just letting the words come out in it, and it's worked really well.
What's your favorite memory of having worked in the Dam site?
Do you know?
And for those who don't know, the Dam site was in Tinton Falls.
Right.
And it's now called the Grist Mill, or is it something else now?
I think it's moved on to some other. Is it MJ's?
Oh, at MJ's. That's right. It is
MJ's.
MJ's. Right.
But that was such a wonderful time. I met all you guys, first of all, which was a whole new world for me. And I learned, slam bang timing. But I remember that afterwards we would go downstairs and have free burgers and like a beer or something, right?
Yeah.
And we got paid.
Yeah.
We got paid like $20 a night, I think.
No. We got $5 a night.
Oh, $5.
Remember there was somebody that played the piano downstairs?
I remember that there was somebody,
That was Tim McClune.
Get out! I had no idea.
Yeah, that was Tim McClune.
Oh, wow.
He played the piano downstairs at the Dam site. I think it's hard to figure out what we would do if we started in drama.
Right.
But I would posit to you that it's much more difficult to do comedy than drama.
Yeah.
Because with comedy, you're really doing drama.
Yes. You're such a smarty pants. Yeah. Yes.
So if you're doing it for laughs,
right,
it's harder because you have to do it. You have to kind of do it seriously.
Yes.
You were really involved with the Holmdel Theatre Company.
Yes.
What was your principal role there?
Oh my goodness. Everything from producer to bottle washer. And I hired actors and I acted. Part of our mission there was, and continues to be, I imagine, working with kids from the area.
Yeah.
And so we tried to cast kids in roles, wherever possible, and to pick at least a couple plays over the course of a season, so that
there were young roles.
Yeah, there were young roles.
Yeah.
that gave an opportunity for a bunch of kids to be doing stuff on stage.
Yeah.
And we worked in little bits and stuff, and they got to see us working hard.
What impressed you the most about the people that you work with in the Holmdel Theatre Company?
I was impressed that they had created a home for creative types that included a place for up-and-coming actors. And I just thought, it's so much easier to just pick a play, cast your grown-ups, and, but this was a much more dynamic process. You really were always thinking about that kid who was here last year. He didn't have any lines. Like, we need to give him something.
Yeah.
We had kids that were with us for 3, 4, 5 years as they were growing up, and it's great to see them now. I think that what impressed me about the place was just the vision was borne out by Wendell Smith, the Duncan Smith Theater, named after his son, and it's not so easy to keep a vision going like that, but they managed to do it, and that impressed me. They're doing good things.
Yeah. What did you learn from local theater that you've been able to apply?
That it's about people, that like everything else. I recognized that that the bonds we make off stage and the way we treat each other off stage, it is revealed on stage. When I worked at Berkeley Rep for the first time, and they're a regional theater, and there's money involved, and directors come in from New York, and all the warm and fuzzy stuff was gone. So then it was up to me to connect with people, and so I kept that with me, and I love that part of it. My God, I don't know that I ever laughed so hard as I did at that time in my life.
You talked about your one-man show, and I know I was in a play where there were just 2 characters, and that was a challenge because it was like, if it wasn't his line, it was mine, and there's nobody else to rely on. So, I mean, was that a real challenge for you doing a one-man show?
Yeah, because, well, just like you described, if nobody's talking, that's a problem because you're the only one. I like doing the one-man show because it's a little bit like lion taming, and in a funny way, teaching set me up for it, because when I'm teaching, I'm constantly...
You're doing a one-man show.
I have to say that the one-man show thing is delightful. It's a drag when it doesn't work, and you, like you were saying before, you almost don't want to go out, and you can't let that creep into your energy at all. So that never happened. There were a couple of times where there were dips. Then I realized, this is my story. Like, I can't really screw it up.
Movies, television, stage. Which is the most real acting?
Oh, stage. I mean,
right answer.
I mean, it's happening. It's alive.
Yeah.
And you can't go back and do it over.
Do you have anything you want to promote?
Yeah, the Junk Drawer show has been sort of my obsession for the last few years. I came up with this show based on pulling items out of the junk drawer. It is peerless in terms of being an interesting drawer. There, silverware is predictable, but in a junk drawer, it's like, you find Barbie heads, a turtle shell hardener, Band-Aids from 1962. The junk drawer has all that weird stuff in it because there's an unspoken agreement among the people in the household that I'm going to put some weird shit in here, and you're not going to bug me about it, and I'm not going to bug you about the car key that doesn't have a car. This is where we park our crazy for safekeeping.
Are you going to be performing it anywhere?
Well, I was supposed to be performing it in LA in March. I've decided I'm just going to start performing it and putting it up on
casting it,
or on YouTube.
What would, if someone told you that they wanted to pursue a career, let's say in acting, what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, that you can't let anything else get in the way, and that's a tough one, right? Because that can include marriage, babies, things that all of your friends are doing. like, procreation in general.
Earning money.
Yeah, earning money. Like, you have to really be committed to making that your priority. So that, for me, is really the big question. Almost before I even consider the talent thing, is if you want to make a living at this, it means to the exclusion
giving
of
up everything else.
Yeah. You've got to be able to run around to do auditions. I always have had one foot in that world, but I'm also aware that, I had to make money, and I fell in love, and I have triplets, sons, and so that I managed to keep doing shows actually for a while, even after they were born. But at a certain point, you just can't do it at the same pace anymore. Unless you're utterly focused, you find yourself in a position where if you have kids or something, you can't just say, Daddy's going to stop working for a while and see if he could get cast in something, right? I love working on stage with hardworking actors like that come in. They're always kind of pushing you a little bit, not in a rude way, but just because they come in with something new, a fresher look, and it makes you up your game. It's like playing tennis with somebody that's a little better, or something like that.
Yeah, I've done it because I like to act. I really love to act, and I'm always like, oh, I'm getting paid.
Right. Yeah.
And to me, that says you really love what you're doing. If you're like, oh, I'm getting paid, I didn't even remember I was getting paid.
Right.
There's a difference between acting for a career and acting because you love it. I mean, you might be able to combine the two.
That's interesting. You're right, because there's a kind of business. It comes, becomes business.
Yeah, and I think that's true for any art.
Yeah.
If you want to be an artist, you have to either be willing to make almost no money. You might make money, but you have to be willing to not make money, or go the money route, and then you just do anything to make the money. So I think you need to make that decision if you're going to be an artist.
Or you find yourself an enterprising, patient partner.
but you're not going to make money.
Yeah, right.
Well, Geoff,
yes.
Thank you so much.
Oh, sure, it was my pleasure.
Thank you for being here and
yes.
spending the time with me. And
oh, thank you for having me.
I have been speaking with Geoff Shields, an equity actor, writer, producer, and professor teaching public speaking, whose one-man show, Junk Drawer, will soon be available on YouTube. Geoff has lived and worked in the Bayshore area for over 40 years, and I am glad to have him as my first guest. I love the arts, and I love to talk, and that's why I'm talking to local artists. And if you like listening, then subscribe to my podcast. You can do it on this page, on iTunes, or anywhere you get podcasts. I'm Lucilla Sapio, and this is Hazlitt Coffee Talk.